right, welcome back. So we've done a lot. Progressing pretty good. We are getting a good amount of plates and screws are going back up and all this other stuff. We are we're getting our iron pieces, 210 pieces. Need 500. This is what these guys are doing whenever they show up. Last time, I think we came up with that the reason why we can't find these diamonds is we believe that they're from the LED terminals. That's where we get those researches. All right. We thought they came from here, but they take 10. So obviously you can't do anything with that. I'm not even going to buy the thumper. There's no reason for it right now. So we have to do this type of stuff. So if you come here, come to the factory, we need diodes and resin. To make the diodes and resin, we need a facility, which takes more glass. Now, I started increasing the production of this because we are now trying to transfer over to here. We are making small ants. We are making those ants for this. And they're going to, see, we got several in here. And we're going to have this going to collect all this, all right? To collect this energy. This energy is going to feed two places. It's going to feed the primary place of getting the energy, all right? So it looks like it doesn't produce much, so maybe 10. Might be able to survive with 10. Are you on the list? No. So we're going to move you down just a little bit, move you up just a little bit. There we go. Get that in there. Nice. All right. Well, we made this last time because we're going to start building a proper resource base out here. We're going to have the main people collecting the scrap. All right. All the different scraps. Because we only have 3. We have these 3 down here. They're collecting this stuff. Right now, it's just copper. So let's start with this. Just go over here. Boom. All right, cool. So that's going to be collecting more glass so we can make more light bulbs. I actually think we have enough light bulbs. So I'm going to stop production of the light bulbs. All right. So we'll go in here and say 0. Now, we will move these guys back over here. These are the guys doing the glass to light bulbs. Okay, so they're bringing over those. All right, so we're going to stop the transport of light bulbs. And they're going to start moving larvae over there. So we can start making more energy pod workers. To start collecting this. After we get, I don't know, like, we'll do about 15 up here. All right. All they're going to do is sit there and collect the energy. So yeah, when we get 15 over there, we'll start funneling these guys down here. And just like we did over there, we're going to collect all the different scrap. And we are just going to ship it all the way over here. And start processing it over here. Now, while that's doing that, while we're collecting ants over there, we are going to make a redesign. All right. So this is all good. All right. It's working good. It's fine. Last time I came up with a better idea. So as it stands, I'm doing counter gates. Boom, boom, counter, 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 counter. So basically only one ant comes in here. One ant can leave. That way, whatever. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to erase all this. We're going to take this and erase all of this. Okay. And instead, we are going to use a stockpile gate. We're going to go here. Let's say stockpile. 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 I really wish there was a copy and paste for this, but it's fine. So we're going to assign this to here. And we're going to say, enter if stockpile contains less than 100. We're just going to do 100. We're not going to fill up the entire thing. We're just going to have a little buffer of 100. You know what? Nah, this is a main resource. We'll do 200. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing to all of these. We'll just assign them real quick, and then we'll modify them. Assign. There we go. So less than what? 200. If it hits less than 200, let people in, is basically what I'm saying. Less than 200, let people in. Cool. Now we use this, and we go interact with that, interact with that, interact with that, and interact with that one. Okay. And then we just go, so we'll come down here and we bring them over here. So go down to there, go down to there, and go down to there. That way they're not on the main line and they're not going to go down any others. They just come straight down and drop it off. Now, I'm going to do this change. Now this is great. So now we can set this to a proper number because this will count everything now. So we only want 4 ants in there. So we're going to go 4. Why does it say there's only 2? Oh, there it goes. Took a little bit to register. Now I'm going to do this on all of these. All right. I will be back when that's done. All right. So my original plan wasn't working. So I came up with something else. Now I have the main loop that drops some stuff off, picks some stuff up. I have a gate right here after they would pick something up. This is where I'm putting the stockpile gate. So if it's less than 200, they let somebody in there. And then I just put a divider gate to make sure that they don't go to the same boiler or refinery, because they were kind of stacking up. They were stacking up at the same refinery and not going because there was no other conditions other than go in here if the stockpile is low. This way it splits them up between the 4 different furnaces. So I did on all these, so they're all set. What are you? You're not. Oh yeah, there's just no glass. That's fine. That's fine. I also changed this where there's 4 workers in here at a time, which means it's 8, 16. So I need 16 workers in there, which means I probably have to make some more. Let's expand out this way. Let's get some floor plates. All right, so I have this kind of set up. We need diodes. If you come down here, we're going to need diodes and resin. To make those, we will also need factories. So let's say 2 apiece. That seems good. So we'll go here, okay, and maybe build them down here. We need glass over here. All right, I will be back when we get some of this set up. All right, so this one was a little bit tricky because I have 2 different items being made at once. So I thought on it for a bit. So what I came up with is I got two of the stockpile gates, 1 for each of the things. This bottom one's pretty straightforward. Yo, if you have less than 100 plates, put some people in there. Got a directional gate that they'll come down and get put on this line back over. That makes the loop all around. All right. On this one's a little bit more difficult. It only takes 1 ant or one iron to make 1 screw. So I didn't want people to back up, so I'm like, yo, come over here. All right, if it's less, so all the ants will come over here, but it'll also run into this. If there's an ant already in this area, then just divert and go back down. So I know that seems simple, but that took a little bit of finagling, trying to think out how how to properly do this where it's more efficient. And then what we'll do is we'll come down here and we will say we want 4 ants in there. Okay. Because the steel plates, they take 4 a piece. So if we get an ant in here when there's one over here, because it's not going to count it towards the total, we'll have 5 ants, which means one's pretty much dedicated to make screws if need be, or if not, then it'll help make the drop off stuff for the plate, and there'll be 5 ants in here total. All right, cool. Now let's fix these. So there's 2 of these. Each one takes 2 fiber to this. So I'm just going to set this, make it this right here. This setup should be fine. So, all right. So I have the base set up more, I believe more efficiently. All right. I already talked about how they're doing this. I set this up basically the same way. It checks to see if this is full. And then if it is, it just doesn't do anything. I have a limit of 2 on there. I set this one up, which makes the copper wire. And that's set to 100. And also has an open gate of at least 1 ant in there. I reopened up the light bulbs with 1 ant. And it's set up the same way. Just 1 ant, go in there. Alright, so now I'm not having weird, awkward number of ants in different places. So that's good. That is good. Now the only problem is, I think I might have to make some more of these. Because you sit there and you look. I'll need 8 for these 2, 8 for these 2, so that's 16. Another 4 for this one, which will be 5 actually. So 21, then 22, 23, the 24, and then 25. So I'll need 25 ants in here to be able to keep up with the supply. That's not including, you know, the travel time back and forth of getting refueled and all this other stuff. So let's give it some time and see what fills up. Thinking we're going to increase this to 1, and we are going to start making some extra ants, pot ants. I'll be back when this gets full. All right, so I ended up adding quite a few ants on this, so we should be having all of this full with the new setup of the cascades. That way the counter gates can actually work properly. I ended up doubling up on the processing of the refueling stations. Got rid of the creation. We're making progress on the iron scraps, but I also was playing around in this, and I think I finally got something set up. So, oops, here, assign to this one, and say if it's less than, let's say 50. There we go. Oh, oops, I forgot to do something. Okay, so we're gonna have you go all the way down there. All right. So it's gonna be weird. I'm not okay. It doesn't really take that line. That's fine. So essentially, what happens is the normal counter gate, only 2 in here, right? And then it goes in circles. I have a stockpile gate, so only let them in here. Now the problem is I finally got the glass I needed to make the facilities. So it takes two ingredients, fiber and concrete, to make resin. All right, and these are one of the ingredients we need. So what I did is I put the 2 dispensers down. All right, and this is what I was thinking, because it's 1 and 1. I was like, all right, cool. So all I did is I'll go, hey, open this gate up if we don't have enough resin. And then what it does is every time an ant goes through here, it splits. It goes back and forth. So it alternates between the 2 dispensers. Now, I have 2 facilities to feed. So I can't just have them go willy-nilly. So what I did is they come down and they go, all right, I pick up some whatever material I'm going, and that they're identical, both sides. I put another splitter gate, which connects in with the other splitter gate. So each one is going down the same line. And then they meet up, and one goes to one facility, one goes to the other, and then they bring it all back down to this gate, and then they get put back in the loop. That goes in circles. I'm pretty happy with myself with this. It was took a little bit of thought and brain power. Like I said, I'm not very good when it comes to logic gates, especially limited. But I'm happy that it's working. I do foresee a little issue with this all being... oh, nope, they're not all on the same line. Okay, so it looks like this is all on the same line, but it's not. So this actually connects down to here, which is after this one. So they should just pass over each other instead of being stuck by the person that's going to be creating the next one. So I only set it to 2 because I really am just barely keeping up with the amount I need in here. So pulling 2 off, that way I can make a small amount of resin. So we are making resin. I am totally happy with that. So, and we're making progress with the iron piles. Now, we are getting glass. Now, if you come take a look, this is where the Mark II energy farm is. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 15 ants that are just running around there. If you come down here, I kind of exploded the population for the collecting of the piles. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, about 16 down here. And all they're doing is running around and collecting the piles up. And so right now we're collecting all the glass. With this many, we should be able to clear through all of this. So, and it looks like our energy is doing good, so it's staying high. Occasionally I will go and drop this off. I stopped the production of more of these ants. So we can make 14 more, but we're not going to. So, all right. I'm thinking we should try and let's make the diodes, because that's the next thing we need. If you come take a look, facility, and what we're going to do is we're going to bump this up. Click like this. Will it? Yep, it lines up. Okay. So we're going to bump this up right there. Or no, we can't do that. We can't do that. That's too close. But let's take a look and see what they make. So we go change, and we want diodes. Diodes take screws and copper wire. We are making copper wire. I'm thinking we're going to need more pot ants. It's very limited on here. I mean, I could limit the amount of... yeah, let's just do that. We'll limit this to 2 people for the concrete. We'll limit that to 2 people. That frees up 4. And the amount of copper we're going to probably need, we'll drop this to 3. There you go. So that should give us a little bit more people to work with. So, are you carrying anything? I don't think you are carrying something. Awesome. So what we're just going to do is let you do the thing. All right. So eventually they'll get processed. So it takes copper wire and screws. We're already making screws. We're already catching up back up on there. We have a guy. He's processing the copper into wire, but we are getting wire. I'll be back when I get this set up. Look, we have our first LED. I made this janky thing set up. We are making resin. We are making diodes. This is going to take 10 LEDs to make. We have over 2,300. We are almost on the verge of getting the 100 pieces of scrap from mining. I set something up I thought was very interesting. So instead of them walking all the way around, I put these little launchers in between each one. So ideally what they would do is they would all finish about the same and start going in a clockwise. It would hit this, throw this, won't have anything, go in here and mine this one. Same with this, throw, mine in this one. And then like this one would just drop it off in one of these and drop it in here. But I'm thinking that these could be very useful for like setups like this, where I could just have them going in a loop because it takes so long to mine. Basically what I would do is have one little micro system that they would mine and then have these throwers there throwing into a common dispenser, and they would just all throw in that same one. I'm thinking that would be the fastest, most efficient way of using these miners. So we'll take a look at that next time. Collecting a whole bunch of research. We're getting the diodes. We're getting resin. We're getting the LEDs. We made this more efficient, where it's not going to make a whole bunch of excess, so things can start stocking up, and that way we're not pumping all our resources into, I don't know, plates that eat 4 freaking iron plates. And now we're just like, all right, we're just going to hold off on that until we do some stuff. I think of a way of doing this more efficiently, that way I'm not wasting this, because they'll just hold on to the piece. But we'll get a little bit further into the mod before I completely tear all this up and rebuild and redesign a new factory floor. So we'll have to do that. So if you're liking that content, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below, and as always, stay faithful.